Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage. So tonight on the race truck, we're going to get some more stuff done. We are actually getting very close. Like we stated in the last video, we have a lot of other stuff to do. Our really big job is to get our Muldoon's transmission in, which we should be receiving probably in the next video. So anyhow guys, what we can get done, we are still leaving this side of the engine kind of naked, or this side of the truck I should say, because we have our whole wire harness from Breakout Tuning Solutions apart. Not really apart, but it's not as zip tied up all nicey nice like it was, because we're still trying to figure out the engine stuff and figure out what exactly is going on. So with all that being said, I just want to have easier access to it and just not have to pull stuff back off the truck again and yada yada yada. We're figuring it out. So anyhow guys, tonight what we're going to be getting into is actually a little bit more wiring, which is not very exciting. So what we are going to get into is putting our Edge CTS2 back in the truck. So now that I look at it, our monitor, I didn't think about this earlier, we have no more A-pillar to mount it to, so we will have to come up with some sort of a mount off of the cage, which isn't a big deal, but the wiring's kind of the bear here with this. So as we look at all the gauges we have, if you guys remember last year I had labeled everything so we knew what it was. Really, we're basically concerned with just the transmission stuff. So our line pressure, our transmission pan, our converter temperature, those are the big things we're worried about. We'll probably throw our fuel pressure sensor on there as well. And as far as boost goes, this year we don't have to worry about that because our Breakout Tuning Solutions harness has there's two sensors. You can't really see it, but there's two sensors actually under here in the same ports as on top here, but on the other side. Those two sensors will allow us to read up to like 150 pounds of boost through the factory ECU. So, well, not factory ECU. Through this ECU, it's actually off of an 07.5 to an 09 truck, a CM2100. So with that, we can log that on our EFI Live V2. And also with our gauge setup we're going to be doing with that, which we will go into when the time comes. So we don't really need the boost. And as far as that goes, we're not as concerned with our drive pressure as of right now. That's not going to be a big deal with the amount of nitrous and with the size turbo we have, drive pressure is not going to be a problem. Also our EGTs, we're not worried about that either. Everything in the engine is beefed way up. So we're not worried about that stuff. Like I said, just the transmission and probably the fuel pressure, just so we can log it and watch it. We do have a gauge on our fleece distribution block that we can read, but obviously you can't read that while the truck is running. So after we get our Edge CTS2 installed, which hopefully doesn't take very long, because I'll be honest, we're gonna kind of do like a half-assed install on this. We have the wire harness already made up. We're not even using all the sensors. And I'm looking at maybe going to a much more professional, better data logging setup in the future. So we're just going to kind of run it nonchalantly, if you will, for now. So hopefully it doesn't take too long to do. But then we can start putting the truck back together. We already have our intercooler radiator and radiator fans in, but we can put our fender on. Our little plastic piece, as you can see, I've already been looking at. Probably put our headlight in, just kind of get this side of the truck wrapped up. I don't know if we will get to the bumper and all tonight. I'll have to see how this fender falls. I don't remember all the bolting, but if it's doable, we'll start getting that stuff in. So that way it's just less stuff to do once we get our transmission from Muldoon's, because basically once the engine's sorted out and we get our transmission, it's kind of like put the bed on and go. I mean, we're that close. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of other little shit that is entailed with all that, but it's much smaller stuff to do. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling. Let's get to it and get this thing back together. So needless to say, I'm frustrated. I got the fender on. All the lines on the door to the fender look absolutely perfect. Like it came from the factory, the way it should be. The hood, yeah, not working so well. So I do not have the demeanor for body type stuff. As you guys probably know, it's just trying to get the hood lined up, but the bolts for the hood are up under the fender, and just trying to figure that all out is a bear. I'm getting to the point where I need to step back and just take a minute and stop. So that'll be the end of tonight, because like I said, I'm just irritated because the hood will go down, it won't latch, but you know, it's going to hit here, and as you can see, it's already hitting here, and I just don't know. The hood, you know, all the bolts are lined up. Well, they were when we started with where they were previously, just going by the paint and how it was messed up. But the fender is definitely where it should be, just looking at the body lines and all that. This upper one up here is off because it actually bolts right into the hinge. So, needless to say, this video and this project is going to go to day 2. So guys, it's the following day. We're going to start messing with the fender and the hood again. Last night I was just getting frustrated and decided to call it quits. Things just weren't lining up right. So I think my game plan tonight, I'm going to get rid of the hood latch, and I'm also going to get rid of the fender. And what I'm going to try and do, I'm also going to take my exhaust pipe off, because as I move the hood around, it's starting to hit because our clearance is pretty tight. Anyhow, we'll pull off the fender, try and get the hood to lay correctly on here, and then we'll go about trying to put our fender back in and see how everything goes there. This might be a little bit of a process, but we're going to just try and take our time. I'm certainly no body man, that's for sure. But our fender kind of falls right in line. So if we can get the hood right, we can slap both our fenders on and be ready to rock and roll. So I got both of our fenders on. It was a little bit of a pain because, as you guys can imagine, it was kind of the same thing we had with the doors. The passenger side went right on, no problem. I decided to put the driver's side on, even though I wasn't originally going to, just so we could try and get everything lined up. But yeah, this side fought us. The hood fought us a little bit with the hinges and all that. Needless to say, our body line on the driver's side is a bit off. Things are a bit tight, but it closes, so we're good there. But like I said before, the passenger side looks pretty good. So the hood closes, it latches. Now, one thing also, the fenders are, for whatever reason, are sitting a tad lower than the hood in the front here. I can't figure out why, because the hood, which I got my latch here, the hood sits down on these little blocks and these adjusters, and none of that's moved. These blocks are set. The adjusters, I turned them down a little just to see, you know, maybe it was sitting on them a little high or whatever. And no, it was sitting on the block. So what I did on this side was actually shim the fender up a little bit. So I'll probably do that over here, but I'm not really concerned with that right now. But we can kind of put the rest of the front end of the truck together. I got our headlights. we got our grill, our bumper. We can make this sucker look like a truck again. So we're gonna try and work on that and kind of see how far we get. And yeah, she's looking good, that's for sure. We got some body gap issues, but that's not gonna affect how it goes down the track, that's for sure. But yeah, keep pushing on here. Well, we got a truck again. So we got our fenders, our hood, our grill, our bumper, our headlights, all that stuff's on, situated. We have some little adjustments to do with like our fenders and whatnot, but yeah, the truck is starting to look good. I mean, if we had the our bed thing, I don't know if you can call it a bed, but our bed sides, it would look pretty good. Yeah, I'm ecstatic. The truck looks like a truck again. Yeah, so we just have a couple other little big jobs, and this thing's, we're getting close. We are really close. The truck is looking phenomenal. Well, for what it is. I mean, obviously it's not perfect, but that's okay. We don't care about that right now. We're just trying to get the truck to the track. So this week we're supposed to be getting our transmission from Muldoon's, and we'll go over that. We'll get that installed, and we're still working on the engine stuff, trying to figure out what's going on with that. But as soon as that's all done, we should be able to get the truck moving and rolling. Might get Bobbert to come over, give me a hand putting the bed on. I think with it all cut up, we might be able to just manhandle it. But yeah, the truck's looking good. I'm ready. I'm ready to get this thing ripping, and yeah, look at that. Just an old work truck. You'd never know the difference. Yeah, we gotta get our exhaust pipe back on. But so anyway, guys, it's gonna wrap this up. We got our body situation up front kind of handled as best we could with what we have. It's not perfect, like I said, but it'll do. Nobody's gonna care if this thing performs the way it should. Nobody's gonna be paying attention to those things. But yeah, so it looks like a truck again. Comment down below what you think. It's good to see this thing. Whew. Yeah, I'm rambling at this point, I know. But yeah, guys, we're getting close. I'm getting excited. So anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. Get out in your garage. Get the wrenching on your truck.